Alright, David, this is just a quick video instruction, demonstration, whatever you want to call it, for the LinkedIn Profile Viewer program that you had discussed with me. I think it is going to meet your requirements as far as what you explained to me. So once you've installed the program, just click on the icon on the desktop. That opens up. I just called it LinkedIn Profile Viewer. That is what I named it. The first thing that you're going to have to do is click on this First Time Users button on the very first tab, Step 1. Now, the reason we need to do this is because I'm using the iMacros browser with the C# scripting interface. And so what we need to do first is set the cookie for the iMacros browser. Alright, so you should only have to do this one time, and then after you do it the first time, until you delete cookies again, you won't have to worry about it. Alright, so now I've already got the cookie set for my machine, but I'm going to click on First Time Users, and the program will actually give you the instructions. It just says, please log into your LinkedIn account via the Open iMacros browser, and this will set the cookie for future use. And then after you've done that, which I have done, you can close out of the browser and close out of the program, and then you have to relaunch it before you begin to build and or run your campaign. But what I'm going to do before I close out of this is I'm going to perform a search, and this is how you will have to actually build your campaigns. So let's do SEO in people, or for people, and the reason why, well, so what we did was we performed a search. Now you can go ahead and, like you're familiar with in LinkedIn, you can refine your search however you like, and once you're done refining your search, copy the link out of the URL address bar. And this is what you're going to need for each campaign that you build. Alright, so I've done that. I'm going to close out of the iMacros browser and close out of the LinkedIn program. Now, you can always go to your normal browser, i.e. Firefox, Chrome, whatever, and grab that link before you launch the LinkedIn program that I just built here. But I'm going to close out of here. We'll jump back into the program, and we'll begin to build a campaign. We have to build a campaign before we can run a campaign. So what would you like to do? Build a campaign, and then you're going to give your campaign a name. We're going to call it SEO people, and then here in this box, paste your LinkedIn URL search string below. That's the search string that we were just given by LinkedIn.com in the URL address bar of the browser that I copied, that has our refined search criteria, right? So I do that, and then you need to choose a place where you'd like to save the campaign, and I'm going to save it in my LinkedIn campaigns folder on the desktop. And by default, whatever you named the campaign in the campaign name text box here in the program, it'll put that in the file name text box of the Save As dialog box, just to save you that extra step. Hit save. So now we've named the campaign, we've specified our search criteria for the profiles that we want to view, correct? And then we've specified the place to save it. So now I'm going to go ahead and click Start. And now what the program is doing is it's going out and it is searching LinkedIn.com for profiles that match the criteria that we specified. And I remember you told me that you had a Premier or Premium account that you're paying for, a paid account. And I looked that up on LinkedIn.com. You can actually only view 700 profiles per search. I have a free account here that we're demonstrating with, and I can only search 100 profiles per search. Okay, so the program or the software will detect when LinkedIn says, hey, you can't view any more profiles, and that's where the campaign will end. Now there's a way to customize this so that when you run the campaign you can actually, you could build several campaigns, right? And then you could actually combine those campaign files and run a large campaign above and beyond the number of profiles that LinkedIn allows you in each given search. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a minute. So it's just about done. Mine's going to end at 100. And I'll open up the campaign file and actually show you what that looks like, and then you'll have a little bit better understanding what I mean as far as customizing it in the future. And here we go. Okay, so now LinkedIn's going to say, hey, you can't search any more profiles, and software is going to decide to end it. Here we are. Your campaign has been successfully created. Alright, so I'm going to close out of the program, and I'm going to go in here and we're going to look at our saved campaign file, which we named SEO People. And here we are. So these URLs are incredibly long. I was actually kind of surprised when I saw that, but anyhow, so let me explain what you're seeing here. So the text file for the campaign that you just built, the very first line in that text file is actually the URL search string that we had copied out of the URL address bar. Alright, that is our designated search string for that entire campaign. Alright, and then everything below that are actually the profile URLs, so the profiles that were found under that search criteria up to the allotment that LinkedIn.com allows you to view depending on your designated account, right? So when I was talking earlier about customizing the campaign, let's say you did SEO people, and then you did software people. All right. Well, you could open up both of those text files and then copy all of the profile ID URLs, right, and add them to an existing campaign text file. Just don't add the URL search string, which is the very first line in each file. Okay, so you can run several campaigns. You can combine all of your IDs, all your profile URLs, right, and combine that into one very large campaign that you can run, over several hours or days or whatever. Because LinkedIn won't prohibit you, I don't believe, at least I haven't gotten that far, won't prohibit you from viewing as many profiles as you want. They'll just prohibit you from viewing so many search results for each search string. Okay. Alright, so that's that. Now we're going to run the campaign, but because this campaign is quite large, because there's 100 profiles, I'm going to shorten it up just for time's sake. Okay. So here we go. So there's the first, the URL search string. Then we have 1, 2, 3. We're just going to do 3 profiles. I'm going to delete that. There we go. Make sure that. Okay. All right. So we only have 3 profiles to view for this campaign now. I'm going to save it. Close out of the text file. Close out of this here. Alright, now let's reopen the program. And now I'm going to run the campaign. And the first thing you have to do after you hit the Run Campaign button is select the campaign that you would like to run. Obviously, because I was in the LinkedIn Campaigns folder last, that's where it brought me to, and there is my modified campaign that we just created. Open that up. Takes you to tab 2, Campaign Settings. It automatically imports the name of the file and puts it in the campaign name text box, so you know which campaign you're running, and then also puts the URL search string in here in case you want to validate what your actual search is for. Then next you have the random profile view settings. Now this is the time, the random time, the minimum time, maximum time. It'll find a random value between those two that the software will actually view each LinkedIn profile. As it comes to each profile, it will only view it for that length of time. Now by default I put minimum 10 seconds, maximum 60 seconds, but you can obviously choose whatever you want to do. Now if you are currently running a campaign and you're going, geez, this is taking too long, and you want to speed it up, you can come back here and while it's running and actually adjust these numbers, and it will speed up the campaign. Just make sure that you're always keeping the minimum value lower than the maximum value, because while it's running and if it's calculating the random number between those two, if the maximum number is smaller than the minimum number, you're going to get a runtime error. Okay, I could put a try-catch block around that. I just haven't done that. Just giving you the FYI, the program's going to crash if you do that. So you have the option of speeding up the program or drawing it out by adjusting these in real time. Just keep the minimum value always smaller than the maximum value. That's all you have to remember. As far as the loop time settings, this has to do with after you've finished running that particular campaign, you can loop back through it again at a designated time. So let's say that you want to run through this campaign every 3 days for a month or whatever, right? So I could get out your calculator, put in however many, I'm just going to say 1,000 hours. That's a little bit over a month, and or actually no, you would do this, I'm sorry, that's the loop time setting in hours. So I would say I want to run this campaign every 3 days for a month. I would put 72 hours, and then I would say 10 here. Okay, so it's going to make 10 loops through that campaign file once every 72 hours. So in a month's time, it's going to run through that campaign 10 times. Alright, now obviously we don't want to do that for demonstration purposes, and I've never actually run a very large campaign, so you're actually going to be testing it more or less, but I've run small campaigns and they're working just fine. Put that back to 0. So for demonstration purposes, we're just going to run, let me just put this in as 30 seconds. And we're going to loop through it 3 times. Okay, so it's going to make the campaign a lot quicker, and we're going to adjust the minimum time settings to 5 seconds. And I'm just doing this because of the video. Keep it small, quick, short, and concise. So we have all our settings set. I hit start, and our program window is behind the iMacro browser, so I'm just going to bring it forward, and here's what you're looking at. Oops, let me move it over to this side, that way we can see the profile ID. So the status window kind of gives you an idea of where you're at within the campaign. The total profiles that were found in the campaign text file was 3. This is the number of profiles you viewed so far. These are the number of profiles left to view, and this is the current loop number you are at of the total number of loops that you want to make through this. At the very bottom you have a little status update that will actually tell you when the next processes are going to happen, and that's where you'll see the random time to actually view that the current profile that it's viewing, right? And that'll be displayed there, and you'll see the countdown. After it's run through that campaign file, then it's going to initiate the loop timer, which is the amount of time you're going to wait before you run that campaign again. Okay, so I had it set for 30 seconds. We're counting down, and once we get to 0, we're going to initiate the second run through of the campaign, and I'll just let you watch this one through here. So now we're on loop number 2 of 3. We're viewing the first profile. We have 2 profiles left to view. Very straightforward. This just kind of helps you keep track of what's going on and where you're at, especially for large campaigns. I figured this would be somewhat helpful. You always got to have something going on, otherwise you don't really know if the campaign's dead in the water or what's going on. So as long as something's happening, it's easier to tell what's happening. Okay, so we completed loop number 2. We've ran through the campaign text file twice, and we're counting down the loop timer, the 30 seconds, to do our third and final run through. And here we go. Bring the campaign window forward here so you can see it. So the third, 3 of 3, 3 profiles left to view. And here we go, the last profile, and when the campaign ends, you should get a finished dialog box. Your campaign has completed. And that is pretty much it. A couple quick disclosures is in the Dropbox file here you have, or the Dropbox, in your Dropbox you should have the executable setup file for the LinkedIn Profile Viewer program, obviously this video, and then also the version of iMacros that I am using as I'm demonstrating this to you. When I purchased the scripting license, I was using version 7.5 or something like that. Anyways, I'm including that in your Dropbox folder. I believe iMacros, which is currently at number 8, iMacros 8 as far as the browser, I think that's backwards compatible. But if you have any trouble, I'm assuming that you're probably going to be running this on a designated machine because you're going to be running lengthy campaigns over a long period of time. If you run into any problems, uninstall iMacros 8 and install iMacros 7 dot whatever it is that I provided you in your Dropbox. Alright? As far as payment, first let's make sure that you get it working on your machine. You had mentioned you had a budget of $500. I'm looking at about $425, and I'll be happy with that. So we're under budget, and I hope this works for you. I'd be curious to see how the results work for you ultimately after you run several campaigns. That would be interesting to know. All right, David, you take care. We'll talk to you soon. I'm going to be gone for through the Thanksgiving weekend, so I probably won't get a lot of stuff done. I'd like to make sure you're up and running so you can be using it for BizText or whatnot. But if there's any big trouble, we might have to wait until I get back at the 1st of December or whatever. All right, David, take care. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.